In this video, I'm going to show you how we can view and manage our content metadata through the APIs that Tableau makes available to us. By content metadata, what I mean is all the stuff that's in our Tableau server or Tableau site, and then how it relates to all the other stuff that's in there as well. There are two APIs that can help us do this. First of all, you have the metadata API, and that allows you to query it, and it will send you back information about the content itself. So what is it? Who owns it? Does it have any data quality warnings associated with it? And does it have downstream or upstream content that's reliant on it? Secondly, you have the REST API. And the REST API you'd usually use to manage Tableau Server automated processes. You can actually use that to manipulate the metadata. So for example, you can add a data quality warning to a certain data source, and that will then propagate down to all the content in the UI if you have the data management add-on and data catalog. So why is this helpful? Well, if you want to integrate Tableau's metadata with an external data catalog, then it's great to be able to read the data out. And if you want to, say, programmatically set data quality warnings on Tableau content based on an external data quality monitoring tool that you might have pointed to a database table, for example, then you can do that as well. So let's start by looking at the Tableau Metadata API. So you can find the documentation on our site, and it will explain how this works. Now, it's built on top of GraphQL, which means it accepts GraphQL queries, and it will then give you back the information. You can write GraphQL queries using libraries that have been written for a lot of programming languages, or you can use the interface that comes with Tableau Server or Tableau Online. And you get there by simply typing /metadata/GraphQL, which is the name of this nice UI, after your Tableau Server or Tableau Online site address. So first of all, we're going to start with a really simple query, which is what databases do we have in our Tableau Server? So I start by writing a query. I'll give it a name, what databases. And I'm going to ask Tableau for the databases. And then for each one, I'm going to ask it for the name, the connection type, and the description. And just give that a run. Now, as you can see, I've got rather a lot of databases in my server. So what I'm going to do is filter this down, and you can see I've got the good old Superstore database here. So I'm going to add a filter to my query. Now I'm going to run this. We'll see that we've filtered down to the Superstore, and I've added here the LUID, and that is a unique identifier for this particular asset, and I'm going to use that later in the REST API. So I'm going to take that, and I'm just going to copy and paste, copy that for later. So I have the LUID. Now what I want to know is, are there any data quality warnings on it? Now, this query will allow me to get the data quality warnings, and you can see it's kind of fitting a pattern for each data quality warning. I want the ID, the warning type, and the message. And again, I'll need that ID later. So here we go. There aren't any data quality warnings on this one, which is brilliant. Okay, so how about the downstream content? Let's have a look at the downstream workbooks. Now if I run this, it will tell me, it will list out all of the workbooks that in some way feed off that database. So this is how you can get the metadata out. Now how about how we actually manipulate the metadata itself? So if you come to our help documentation, there are metadata methods that you can use on the REST API, and you do this by sending HTTP requests. Now you could do using a tool like Postman. I'm going to do this using Python and the request library in Python. So this is simply my Python editor. Now I've already signed in to the REST API here, so using this code and a personal access token. So let's scroll down here to the actual metadata management bit. So here I have some code that will look at a piece of content using the LUID. It's going to set a warning, type of data quality warning. I'm going to make it active, so that's like checking the box in the UI, and it's going to add a little message. It will package that up into a piece of JSON, and it will send it using the request library and the authentication token that I got from signing in. Here, I'm just going to post in that LUID that I copied earlier. And I'm going to run this cell, which is this little block of code that's highlighted. So you can see the data that I've got back over here, and it's telling me there's now a data quality warning that I've just set. It's got this ID, and here it is, my data quality warning that I've just set. Now what I'm going to do is copy the ID of that particular data quality warning, which we'll need when we actually delete the thing. So now I'm going to copy and paste that warning into here, and this time I'm going to send a delete request to the server at this URL, and that's actually going to get rid of the warning for us. So now I've sent that off, and just to check that it's worked, I can go and check for that data quality warning, or rather check for the information against that asset using this piece of code here. And you'll see that there are no data quality warnings there anymore. So this has been a super quick introduction, but hopefully you'll get the idea of how these things work, and you'll have some ideas about how you could use them to great effect in your Tableau deployment. Thanks very much for watching.